Hey guys, Justin here, and sorry if I sound a little bit off. I am currently pretty sick, but I'm not dying. The only thing that'll be dying is my YouTube algorithm if I don't get a video out in the next couple days. So I put out a poll the other day on YouTube asking you guys what video you wanted to see in regards to the iRacing sporting code, and the majority of you voted for me just reading the entire iRacing sporting code. So I guess you guys just want me to suffer. But I had an idea to make this more fun and help a good cause by making this into a charity stream. So I am announcing that on April 29th, I will be hosting my first ever live stream, and this will all be in support of St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. And it'll be me just reading the iRacing sporting code, but there's a catch. For every time we hit a donation goal, I will have to start all the way over. It does not matter how far I have gotten into the sporting code. If we hit a donation goal, then I just have to start over. The goals will be incremented up by 100 each time, so the first goal will be $100, the second goal will be $200, etc, etc. So I hope you all find some time to come out that day, Saturday, April 29th, starting at noon Pacific or 3 p.m. Eastern, and help me suffer a little bit for a good cause. But now on to the actual content of this video, which was second place in the poll, not by a lot, but I did want to talk about this, and that is protesting. In my head, I think that a large amount of iRacing users have the wrong idea about protesting. And maybe I'm just skewed by the people of Reddit, because they're probably not indicative of normal people, but in general, I see people protesting as a way of justice or vindication, and I really don't think it should be seen that way. The iRacing protest system has never and will never be about justice. If it was the case, then if you were to submit a successful protest, then wouldn't you think that you would get back all of the I rating that you lost, or at the very least the safety rating? I believe the purpose of the iRacing protest system is on a more macro level. It's meant to clean up races as a whole, to encourage good behaviors and discourage bad behaviors on the whole level. But when we start going onto the micro level, it becomes misinterpreted as a way to get back at somebody for doing you wrong in a race. So let's talk about what is protest-worthy and what isn't protest-worthy in regards to racing, because I think that the bar is a lot higher for being protest-worthy than you might think at first thought. Reading through the sporting code, there were only a couple of things that stuck out to me that the driver does behind the wheel that could lead to a protest, and those are both outlined in section 6. And one of those things is manipulating the game's mechanics, like in a restart, for instance, if you're carrying too much speed and trying to just run past the field, or other ways to abuse the game's mechanics. And then the other thing was just retaliatory or malicious or intentional wrecking. Most of what I see on these, oh, should I protest, should I not protest type of posts are somebody just making either a really bad mistake or some sort of move that's considered really dirty, but at the same time, a dirty move is not the same as intentional and malicious in the eyes of the sporting code. And it is extremely hard to prove that a wreck is intentional unless there's some sort of context given with it in the protest. So if you make contact with somebody and then they come back right after and dump you, that can easily be seen as having the context for an intentional wreck. But if the wreck seems to happen out of nowhere, it is very hard to prove that that person did not just make a really bad mistake that led to that wreck. And in the eyes of protesting and the sporting code, there is a big difference between intentional and non-intentional. In the words of iRacing themselves, deliberate, blatant, intentional, malicious, or retaliatory wrecking for any reason is prohibited. And when somebody is just really trying to dive a hole that's not there, sometimes that's just not enough. And it's a bad move, and it wrecks you, and you're mad, but it's just not protest worthy. And sometimes these might end up with iRacing just like kind of playing the middle ground and giving somebody a warning and then saying, oh, your protest has been successful or whatever in your email. But what does that even accomplish? From my experience, people can stack warning upon warning upon warning. And as long as they're not doing anything egregious, iRacing will really never suspend them, as long as their warnings are for something that's not super malicious. In my opinion, and this is just for me, festering about an incident for 30 plus minutes after a race just to send in a report for a guy to get a warning, that sounds like that the other guy just won on all fronts. So that brings me back to my original point. Why are we protesting? If we're protesting because we want that guy to get punished, we might just have to take a step back and say, hey, it's a game, bad things happen, it's not really a danger to the service as a whole, I got screwed out of a race, let's reset. Or are you protesting somebody because they have a behavior that will literally ruin future races for other people, not just yourself? Then maybe that is the time that you want to lodge a protest. Really, the type of protests that seem to be the most successful are the chat-based protests. People swearing in text chat or voice chat, those seem to just go through every single time because that's cut and dry. There are words that you can't say, so don't say them. You gotta get really creative with your insults, as I've learned. But at the end of the day, I am on a very extreme end of the spectrum in terms of protesting, where I do not protest pretty much anything at all. I don't think I have written a protest in like the past 5 years. And at the same time, I don't get protests written against me. I did once, but that was because of a glitch that came out that caused me to run somebody over because I thought that the green flag was out. Because the green flag was out, but just not for everyone else. But anyways, what do you guys think about protesting? Leave a comment down below. I know this will bring up some good discussions because I know not everybody agrees with me on this one particularly, so looking forward to what you all have to say. But anyway, thank you all for watching. Hope you all have a wonderful day, and I hope to see you all on the track.